have you seen this guy's face recently floating on YouTube? This individual goes under the name MamaMax. Why would you care about him at all? This is a valid question. Let me show you the craziest rabbit hole you will see in quite a while. MamaMax is a 27-year-old YouTuber from Texas who managed to gain a dedicated audience on YouTube due to his very unique series where he hunts down child predators. In this unique approach, he presented his videos in a very artistic style, using many impactful video edits to present his hatred for the so-called PDFs, showing the world how they ultimately are taking advantage of the youth and how this is all going on under our noses. Because of this, he managed to gain a huge audience in a very short time, but also many people who decided to help him financially through Patreon. Now, as the title indicates, something here backfired badly. Today's video will give you all the info you need to understand about who MamaMax is.
Today, I personally don't consider this person a friend, I consider them a liar.
How he threw allegations of being a pedo to everyone who confronted him.
Magnetar on YouTube, the one who published this video on me.
Claimed to catch a predator, then only to change his statement.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, if he was arrested, I have no idea.
Why did you tell me he was arrested?
We're also going to address his background, where he showed us that he was a stalker, but also alleged a rapist.
I was shocked, and honestly I couldn't move or even really speak. I started to panic
Or how he used his friends for his credibility and tricked them to helping him.
How do you honestly think I can take your side? Logically, if tomorrow I was like, oh, where's Max getting his legal definitions? Oh, ChatGPT.
This is the insane story of MamaMax, and why is he also now crowned as the king of allegations and fraud.
I'm Max.
Are you ready to dive in with me today? For viewers who are familiar with his story, there are timestamps, so use them to jump to the part you wanna watch. For the new viewers here, I promise you will see something you haven't seen for quite a while. I will do my best to explain it to you in a simplified way, but backed up with various phone calls, screenshots I gathered over the internet, so you don't question my credibility as many have questioned Max's. I hope I will do this team justice, and before we dive in together into this mess, I just wanna say thank you for tuning in, and I hope you will enjoy this video. MamaMax created his channel in May 2016. The first series that Max created was called Life Sucks, that portrays a very distinct approach to life, as the title suggests. Max was around 20 at the time as he started the series. You would see all the things that bother him in his very young life.
911, what is your emergency? Hi. Sir, what is the problem? I'm alive.
People looking at the series now, but also then, would say that they are quite emo-like and cringy, which is a thing in his career, as we would see going on.
It's okay if I do this? Because all my other videos aren't okay apparently, but this is okay, right? It better be.
We will see a pattern here. The series was illustrated by Max's sister, and they managed to get a decent amount of exposure due to his way of presenting things and how they are illustrated. The inspiration for the series was obviously his life, and even based upon some people that will hound him later down the road as his fame grows on the platform. Max had a vision at the time where he wanted to become something like a movie producer. Because of this, he did take pride and effort to make the videos look visually stunning. But why he did start his career in the first place is questionable at best. A now deplatformed YouTuber called Leafy, who was a very controversial guy because he made it look very simple to become big on YouTube. After a while, Max decided to stop the Life Sucks series, even if the series was held in high regards even today by his old school fans. The reason why the series eventually stopped is because Max grows too depressed to continue the series.
I feel like a phlegmatic and spiritless puppet perpetuating the movements I make in the morning, noon, evening, and night, just because it's all that I'm supposed to do until the day I die.
Which is ironic to say at least, is that he dedicated to switch from the Life Sucks series to something more cheerful, and that's reviewing hentai. The video reviews were quickly struck by YouTube because obvious reasons.
I started making the Life Sucks because I was depressed and wanted to help other people. And then I started making hentai reviews because my channel wasn't doing well and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I was just confused about everything. And I was just, okay, I'm just going to review hentai. Fuck thing.
After around 2019, he decided to switch waters and move his channel into a direction which was his hobby at the time, and that's video gaming. He would review video games that he loves and enjoys. With his unique and quirky style, he would review games like Halo, Dead Space, or tackle the Elder Scrolls series. Also, I think I need to address that all his old videos are now public because they were listed as private, all besides of the so-called PDFs hunting he did. For now, what important is that the series didn't do so well as Max expected, and then he started to seeing channels with dark theme channels pop up at the time and grew pretty big. Nexpo would be a great example of that, so he switched his channel's topic to something edgier and dark themed. Videos like Roly Poly, Said Satan.exe are some of them. But the video that did get a lot of attention was a deep dive into a game with a cool background called Canyon Quest, a RPG Maker game. This video falls under his so-called gaming phase. But there is also one thing I wanna address here, and that's a video about Aum Shinrikyo, a Japanese new religion movement and doomsday cult.
I believe I have found a game that is linked to Skasatare, made by a Japanese doomsday cult, disguised as a new Buddhist movement.
Founded by Shoko Ashihara in 1987, which carried out a deadly Tokyo subway attack in 1995 and was found to have been responsible for the Matsumoto sarin attack the previous year. They later made a game for whatever reason, to keep it a bit short here, and Max wanted to tackle the game and this whole topic. This is the time when I jumped on the Max wagon and started to follow his channel. He stated that his life was threatened because of this, and that he was allegedly contacted by the cult and even got death threats.
But I think it's safe to say that I am no longer safe from the likes of Aleph.
Which was later disproven. Like a few other videos from that era, Max started to make false statements and events that occurred to make his video more serious, which did help him to reach somewhat of a bigger audience than a simple game review video. Seeing that this direction again didn't give him the thrill he needed, he wanted to make something that had meaning and was impactful. And that was the next phase of his channel, which is current and still going on, and that's hunting PDFs on various sites, chat rooms and online games. On March 27, 2020, Max would make a quite interesting video called Cartoon Incorporated. First was about a guy you would see in the Walking Dead series and how he discovered a loophole on YouTube.
More. Oh, you like that? Here's another. Thanks, YouTube algorithm. Obviously, that didn't sit too well with anyone. He demanded all viewers to report this to the companies putting their ads on the site with the hashtag YouTubeWakeUp. Q Apocalypse number 3. And people began speculating how this guy was even able to discover the softcore algorithm loophole in the first place.
I mean, red-blooded heterosexual male, do I really need to explain? Who cares? That's besides the point here.
And of course, everyone unanimously blamed him for setting off Third Impact. Not too many people liked him, and was never heard from again. The end.
He started to dive into cartoons which are very fake, like Frozen movies, and also cartoons with seasons that weren't actually up yet, in which he explains that this is a tactic to hunt children, which are the PDFs using so they can exploit them. After this, Max was hooked and there wasn't no way he's going back to mundane stuff like covering games that was for peasants. He needed the thrill and the engagement he got with videos like this.
Didn't really expect to do like pedo hunting stuff until I just tried it, and it was so much fun that I just wanted to like do it again. And then it's gotten to the point now where it's like, now I feel like I have a duty to, like, you know, do what I do for children, because I think that is what we should be prioritizing as a species, is like our children. So I think
this is the time when Max could really show his creative style and his desire that he wanted to become a movie producer one day. His edgy emo style combined with the Hotline Miami aesthetics would result in a quite interesting editing style. Some fans of Max would consider this era too dramatic but also too edgy, but some people would still be here because of the good cause to support him to gather money so he could continue to do his investigations. This video would get him millions of views, and he found himself on the right path, and a meaningful one at that. So Max continues this trend with the next video called kidschat.net. This is where he found some evidence of a guy being a PDF, but because he didn't manage to get enough info, he went to the deep web to hire a hacker to find him and get the information he needs. As crazy as this sounds, and Max even revealed his name, address and even a photo and doxed the guy in front of millions of people. There was also another PDF that hacked Max apparently and sent him sounds of PDFs assaulting a girl, which drove Max crazy. Because Max decided to go this path with his channel, he encountered some resistance from YouTube. The problem was that his content in the eyes of YouTube was a bit inappropriate. This is where Max hit a roadblock, which resulted in him telling his people to go to Patreon to help him out, so the hunt can continue.
The best way you can help, honestly, is through Patreon. That's the best way you can help. Like that is the lifeblood of the channel. Like, that is where I get all my money. None of my videos until Prey made ad revenue. Like, none of my more recent content made any ad revenue. At least not to where it makes it different. Like, I get, like, you know, a video that makes 2 million views gets me a check for like $20. So that should tell you something about how much Patreon is important to.
Which is, if you really think about it, the perfect way to make cash. You simply make people guilty of not paying you up because you wouldn't be able to do any more research and predator huntings. But this is where Max shows how crazy and delusional he is. This is the time when he made a video which was almost like a declaration of war. Max made a video called mylol.apk, which is a mobile app that is a dating app for teens and minors. And Max stated this is a perfect place for PDFs to group.
Contains ads, in-app purchases, and it's rated M for mature. Funny that, since it's advertised and configured to boys and girls down to 13 years of age.
He again dresses as the rooster from Hotline Miami and takes his bed. He proceeds to dox multiple people, which he managed to bait them because he convinced them he was underage. Because this video includes Max putting up in somebody's mouth and many other disgusting and disturbing scenes.
Just enough proof for them to believe I'm a real 13-year-old girl. Oh yes, they will melt in our hands and give us everything. First one up to bat, Joey Gates. This literally thought he could get away with messaging me with a profile picture of his
YouTube decided to take his video down because he didn't follow the community guidelines. Now Max was frustrated and felt attacked personally. MamaMax pulled out a Uno reverse card and stated that YouTube took his video down because they were protecting PDFs. The obvious reason was that he broke the rules, but Max made it such a big drama at the time that many people really jumped on the bandwagon with him, even stating on Twitter, "Answer us, PedoTube." Again, completely insane.
More than happy to accept that this was another silly mistake by Team YouTube. I have already tried reaching out to you on my own, and you ignored me, so you brought this upon yourself. To my lovely audience, you are the only ones who can help me get an answer from them. It's all up to you now. The fans.
This is a time we could see a pattern of sorts. Max loves to crank up the narrative to 11 to get the attention he needs. This is also where a commentary channel jumps into this story called Tommy C, where he respectfully stated that Max with this video tripped the algorithm, which caused an automated community guideline strike because violations took place. Max was basically telling about everybody on social media, and that was that YouTube was protecting PDFs.
When you're talking about pedophile rings and all this, you have to use words like CP, child pornography. You have to use words like sexual violence. I was 15. All of these things are
might
also
trip
out of context.
the algorithm. It might
when you're
trip the
using
bot.
bots, when you're using the algorithm, I mean, you're asking them to do like context. So this is kind of difficult already, right?
Yeah.
And now you're adding in the elements of horror, lynching babies, like blood-covered jump scares.
Yeah.
All of these other things. I was 3 years old. The algorithm.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And he sounds like the Mandarin.
It's really easy for this to be accidentally, and it sounds like the Mandarin. So
Yeah, it does.
copyright. No.
Because of that, MamaMax had a huge beef with Tommy C, going back and forth for quite a while, which is also a quite messy rabbit hole where I don't want to waste so much time on this, because I do think we have some more important stuff to talk about. Not that this isn't important, but let's just move on. Charlie, or Moist Critical at the time, was somewhat a friendly figure to Max, helped him even reach the CEO of YouTube, where they debated the video and stated how the problem was that Max showed a phone number and that was considered doxing. Again, not the first but also not the last time we will see Max doxing people.
This also comes into play with MamaMax's video, if you remember that controversy that happened where MamaMax had this huge video that got taken down, and it was taken down, if I remember correctly, because he showed a phone number for like 3 seconds on screen. Well, instead of taking that whole video down, why not just let MamaMax know, take this out and the video stays up? I'm sure he would have obliged using YouTube's editing tools. So I wanted to make sure that they heard that suggestion, and Susan in particular really liked the idea and really wanted to press that on the policy team, and the policy had also liked the idea and wanted to explore ways of slowly implementing this policy over time too. So it just really felt like everyone there was actually receptive to feedback. Susan was pressing questions to the policy team guy about, well, why aren't we doing this?
After the dust had settled, Max continued to work on his next masterpiece. This video, like the previous, will be again a video that will shook up the YouTube community. His next project was on IMVU, an hour-and-a-half video. IMVU, for you who didn't know, is a platform on which you can dress as an avatar and then chat and interact in various ways with random people online. This video will have a very dramatic approach to the situations, and the video begins with a girl who committed a deed of unaliving herself, if you know what I mean.
Each girl, known only as the moniker KC157434, takes her life after being groomed and raped by a man she met on the platform. And that fate amongst thousands of other children who also played the game. Allegedly, I have to say.
This video features corpses, heavy violence, blood, everything you could think of. Max's crazy dramatic and edgy editing really hit a pinnacle with this one. But would you believe me that this video was yet again flagged by YouTube? Yes, but why now? Well, it's pretty absurd, but with everything they shown, it was taken down because some virtual bare back of a character in a game. Also, very interesting thing here to add is how his credibility was put here to question after people from Reddit started to analyze this video and his statements. Now let's go through a Reddit post together. In the IMVU video, MamaMax reveals that Casey posted unlisted videos. He implies that he had somehow gained access to the account to locate these unlisted videos. One of them is titled "This is very raped and killed me" and depicts a bloody white sheets in the woods, with Casey corresponding with herself in the comments. It is implying that she killed herself or disappeared off the internet entirely. Oddly enough, the complete inactive Casey accounts do not exist any longer on YouTube and IMVU. They were deleted. At the same time, Max and Splithand's IMVU accounts were also deleted. The most similar Casey account I could find and track down was made in 2022 and appears to be entirely unrelated. Days later, he claims in a Discord Q&A that Casey is actually alive. He does not comment on why he made it seem that she was gone or dead in his video. Max claims that she's okay and he cannot talk about it.
What about Pablo Sunny again? Does he know he's been caught or something? Oh wait.
Yes.
Is there an update on Casey? Can you talk about how you got into the account or how you found it? Yeah, that's a bit much.
I can't talk too much about Casey. I don't know what I can and can't say. I will tell you that yes, she's okay. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, thank God. I didn't even know that. Holy shit. That's something I wanted to actually jump in VC with you about at some point.
Yes.
No concrete proof of Casey's existence has ever surfaced. Another observation, the URL that Max sends to Pablo Sunny's friend lead to this image. The URL appears in a IMVU uncensored video for only a couple of seconds. Following it leads to a graphic message Pablo Sunny allegedly sent a decoy account. However, it was never mentioned in Max's video. It's only found by following the URL. It's likely a bait for the friends of Pablo Sunny to see and respond to, but he doesn't appear to be beyond faking screenshots. This is a major piece of evidence that one would assume would be relevant to the story. Hence, my conclusion is that it might be fake. If he did have to fake this, I question the integrity of the evidence presented. Again, you can always leave your thoughts on this statement. Also, the IMVU video was flagged for violating YouTube's policy on nudity on sexual content, so instead of Max just simply maybe re-editing the video, he goes on a yet another rampage to show his frustrations on YouTube's side.
You endlessly punish those of us who create content in response to injustice, speaking up for victims like children and pursuing the perpetrators like else. It is volatile, intense, disturbing, upsetting, raw, and real. Because that is the subject matter it is covering, and that is the way it should be covered.
Now goes the second movement against YouTube. He tried to get with everybody in touch so they could back him up in this battle and that his video could be finally published and monetized. He again tries to wake up the community's attention by referring to the followers as children and ordering them to go and tell the people about Max's topic. So yet again comes the question of people needing to choose their side.
Gonna have to upset all of my fellow creators and make a goddamn disaster out of you, YouTube, because you never do anything until we start squeezing your balls. And this is the part where you come in, children. The links are in the description. I kindly ask you to come with me to make a fucking mess for the second time. I want you to pace this until the world is nauseous from looking at it. I want you to drown out every trending topic so that even something like Spider-Man looks like a microscopic speck of dust compared to us. And tonight, YouTube will choose. Let die the pedophiles they love, or suffer the little children. And by the end of the night, I want Twitter to be a shitstorm.
This was against selfish behavior on Max's part, but that's part of his persona, I guess. This is the second time he tried this tactic out, but sadly it was very poorly executed. This time Max didn't receive the attention he wanted, as this time YouTubers started to make a mockery of the situation and started criticizing Max's move. Despite some YouTubers backing up Max, some of them did know the real reason behind the collaboration, as Max didn't explain that this was going to be a second attack on YouTube. The explanation of this we get in an interview with Max, where he also received a few comments.
And as far as I'm able to tell, that those exist to like get the video viral, right?
For the most part, I'd say so.
Do you, it's weird. So if your goal is to make like a message that can reflect back and like actually produce real change on YouTube, why would you go with such like an inflammatory hashtag? I don't know, for people who haven't seen it, which is like next to nobody. It's pick a side YouTube, children are pedophiles.
Yeah, so I don't think my video is going to fuck do anything. I want the people I call out in the video to do something, because they're the ones YouTube is going to listen to. They ain't going to listen to me.
So you think your video is like the first in a domino effect?
I was thinking that exact thing. Yes, it was like a domino effect.
Steal the words.
I'm just trying to get the ball rolling, and I feel like no one's going to fucking care unless I make it this bombastic, stupid thing. So
wait, okay, I wasn't expecting that answer.
Let's meet Haley. Who is Haley and why is she important? Well, she is one of the persons on the list where you can yet again see how Max is utterly crazy. And you will see how he was stalking people, doxing them and throwing allegations at them. Max had a huge crush on her and desperately wanted to be with her, but she didn't have any interest in Max because she had a boyfriend at the time. But also in general.
I met Max in 2012, 2013 while in high school. We were co-workers at a local movie theater in Wiley, Texas called B&B Theaters. We didn't really speak that much while working there, but he was good friends with most of my co-workers, but he only worked there for a short period of time. We were classmates in a forensic science class our senior year in 2013, 2014.
Now, if you didn't know, Max also wanted to be a rapper. His cringe really didn't show any limits, as he wrote some rap songs in his diary, which ended up surprisingly by Haley. The problem was that allegedly Max also wrote he would get rid of her boyfriend so that Haley would be finally his girlfriend. This somewhat weird romantic rap didn't succeed, and Haley thought that Max was a creep because of it. Max tried multiple times to reach out, but this didn't go well and she kept refusing. And in the end, she gave in after she broke up with her boyfriend. Even she had a new one on the horizon called Magnetar, which is also a YouTuber. In 2014, Haley stated she wanted to meet with Max, but mostly because his sister would be also there, as they both apparently work in the same field. But upon arriving, to her surprise, there was only Max. This was kind of dark, as again, allegedly Max booked a room, and every time she tried to leave, Max didn't want her to leave and blocked the doorway. Apparently she fell asleep as she couldn't get out, only to be waken up with Max, allegedly with one hand in her shorts and the second one massaging her feet. The next day she escaped, because she told him he needed to go to classes, which was an acceptable reason for him to leave her alone. To make this story a bit shorter, Haley was later in a relationship with Magnetar. Then Max was pulled to the army and found about this, and proceeded to end his life because of this, but in style. He sliced his arms, posted on Facebook, thanked them and disappeared.
I was in the United States Army before I was discharged for attempting to commit suicide.
Because of this, Magnetor was pissed and they immediately contacted the police. They found Max in the army and everything ended up well.
For Max again until the summer when he wrote me like a 7 or 8 page letter saying how much he regretted joining the military. As far as I know, his military career was only a few months long and ended with that suicide video or attempted suicide video. He told me about how he loved me and wished we were together. I didn't respond to it, nor did I keep it. I burned it in my grandma's backyard, actually.
MamaMax dropped a video where he would address all the allegations surrounding him, but before we go there, we need to take a look at few more of his ex-girlfriends and the allegations he got. Now comes a part that haunted Max in the background for quite some time, but he didn't let himself be distracted, because he had a far more important goal on his mind, and that was saving the children from the hands of predators. His exes united forces and started to go public one by one, and it isn't something he wasn't aware of, but he tried to shine no light at them, despite wanting to make a video about them, because their stories are a bit off and there are a lot of accusations. I will just give you a brief summary so you know about what was going on in the background.
Not since I started doing pedo hunting, except for one, and it was about cyber stalkers. It was about the people, about some of my exes, and then among other people like who were stalking me and trying to like make a coup to like cancel me. And so it was gonna be a video all about that. But I asked everyone, like I took a poll in my community post. I think I've posted this before. Like, should I make a video on this? And everyone said yes, like overwhelmingly. But at the end of the day, I was like, maybe it's a better idea if I just let them do what they want and just deal with it if it ever comes to light. So that way I'm not being the bad guy by like starting it with them, and they can say what they want and I will respond to it. And I think it'd be better that way. That way I can tell the full story. Because I have receipts, I have pictures, I have everything.
This is also like the segment with Tommy C, where much drama is unfolding. To keep this video somewhat short, as it will be probably 1 hour long, at least, I will tell you about the most important stuff so you can get a grasp of Max's personality. Lucy was Max's girlfriend from 2016 to 2018.
Dated MamaMax when I was a minor at 17, from 2016 to 2018.
They started dating when she was 17 and Max lied about his age. Max at the time was 20, but that was completely alright because the age of consent in her state was 17. Her story didn't get viral even if she was on Twitter and going on podcasts. Lucy stated that Max was abusive and even dedicated one of his Life Sucks video to her. Olive is one to be aware of, as some of her claims were disproven and questioned over the internet. But again, like the previous, she stated that Max was abusive, guilt-tripping her into sex, and that she killed his unborn child. This is a very serious allegation, but how did this happen? Now, she cheated on him, but Max wanted to have children with her, so because she cheated on him and he wanted to have children with her, she basically killed his unborn children. I mean, you can't make this up. She even stated that Max raped her while she was asleep, but then again, she also stated that she has given him permission, so this is kind of weird here. And that's why I don't want to dive into this drama much more. But the allegations are here, and that's the crucial point to remember.
Hi guys, my name is Ali Wang, and unfortunately I am one of Max's exes. How did we meet? So I had a friend, and he doesn't want me to say his name, but we had a mutual friend, and then our mutual friend invited me to go hang out with them. And it was me, my brother, my sister, and my friend, and Max, and we all went to Max's apartment. And we met him through a friend, but our mutual friend wasn't friends with him much longer than I was, so he didn't really know him that well himself. Okay. And then, and I never had a boyfriend before. I just turned 18, when we met. I was only a month 18, and I never had a boyfriend before. I never even like held hands with a boy. And when I had a little crush on Max, he could obviously tell. I mean, like, we were hanging out. We just started hanging out, kind of. I don't know how it really happened. I don't remember how it happened. We just started hanging out because of our mutual friend. And then one day he came over and it was just us two, and we were in his car. And then he kind of just went in for a kiss. And then from there, we just hung out a lot.
This story is the reason why I don't go into much detail about the girlfriends, but again I will give you just a brief summary. Now let's take a look at one of his latest girlfriends called Paulina. She went public on Twitter and started to talking about how Max was very abusive and made fun of her. She was even in his videos giving voices to bait PDFs. She stated Max didn't have any time for her and that she was neck deep into his projects. She was even begging for his attention. On the other side, if you take a look at Max, he states that these are all allegations and he can disprove many of this stuff, and most of the things he was accused were lies. Now we need to take it back and look at Haley, as MamaMax dropped a video where he would address all of those allegations, and he will also mention Haley. Because the whole video was based on he said, she said, it is very hard to keep a track of someone who is not completely into the lore of MamaMax.
In high school, he was a nice guy to everyone. He was nice to everyone.
Oh,
he never would kidnap someone.
Then why does...
Let alone Haley, his friend, and she definitely was not kidnapped.
Then why does Anthony hate me?
Am I allowed to say why?
What important is that Max claimed to have phone calls and screenshots against most of the stuff he was accused of. And also some phone calls where Olivia stated she did provide consent.
She was playing the game.
Correct.
She was playing the game as much as you were at the time.
Correct.
Right, okay. I think that was all of the questions I saw in her accusations against you, unless there were other ones that I've missed. Is there something else that she has tried to accuse you of? May I ask?
Well, Craig, let me show you this Google Drive. You're going to notice 3 names. Let me know when you have it open.
I do, yes. I see the names.
Okay. So, since we're on Olivia right now, I would like you to open Ollie Wang, and I would like you to listen to the recording. You can play it for your audience if you want.
I broke up with you literally because you were boring, to say the least. We never hung out. We never did anything. We never saw each other. Even though we lived together, we never did anything. I was bored.
Yeah. I guess it was just the wrong time for me.
Or maybe we just were never supposed to be together.
I mean, that too. Why all the weird accusations though?
Because I'm so tired of seeing these fucking 13-year-olds making fan edits. My ex-boyfriend who made me go fucking crazy because he was fucking crazy.
So you're being spiteful.
I'm being mad. What if I told the internet you tried to kill me?
That I tried to kill?
Mm-hmm.
Did I try to kill you?
No.
If it got to the point where people are like, can you respond to this, Max? Then I would be like, it's not true.
And also some phone calls about Olivia stating she did provide consent. Again, this is a huge mess with his girlfriends. Again, this video is a huge mess. What we need to take out of this video is Haley's boyfriend. Haley and Magnetar teased and tried to expose some info on Max. And this was a drama going on behind the curtains of the channel, and nobody really knew about this as it didn't go viral in any way, and they had apparently much stuff on him. But at the end of this video, Max did something yet again fitting for his crazy persona.
Anthony Field, Haley's boyfriend, Magnetar on YouTube, the one who published this video on me.
How often
Yes, he actually accused Magnetar of being a PDF. Who, how and why? Well, Max's sister claimed that she has proof, and there is like one screenshot posted which didn't prove anything, to be honest. Max accused him of sneaking into schools to have lunch with the freshmen and even sending his cucumber to minors. And Max proceeds once again to dox this guy, posting his full name, address, pictures to all his viewers, who are now in the millions.
To me, that was a poetic ending, is that this guy who put all my exes together literally has a testimony against him. And not only by one person, it's supported by multiple people. And there are now news stories coming about that he was sneaking... That he was sneaking into his high school as an adult, eating lunch with freshmen.
But you're trying to use other people, that there was multiple people coming out against Magnetar to try to bolster your argument. But there were many more people who came out against you. So I just
without evidence, and
don't understand.
And although the burden of proof was on them, I provided the evidence.
Wait, what was your evidence against Magnetar?
But this and the whole video about the girlfriends were for the most part accusations with no concrete evidence. And this is also the reason why I'm not paying too much attention at this. Just to get you familiar with the topic, as this will be a bit relevant at the end, where we will connect the puzzles and pull the curtain on MamaMax and his wrongdoings. MamaMax made a new video called "This is what happened to a child predator on TikTok." Now, you would think MamaMax is going on a hunt again and leaving the drama behind him, like he says here.
I do not get sick of covering pedophiles. That's what I have fun doing. I would rather be in my hole hunting pedophiles. That's what brings me life. I hate when I have to do this shit and start stupid ass drama just to make people give a shit. You know, because when you, especially when you're so pissed off, like you have to hear the screams of children being raped to death, and you have to witness puppies being skinned alive, trying to hobble away. Like, this becomes so goddamn easy. Like, I don't give a anymore.
But yet he dresses up as Tommy C and even create a fake name called Mommy Z just to make fun of this commentary channel.
I'm out here changing lives, reacting to Twitter drama all day. So what I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna nuke you.
Now, on such a serious topic that MamaMax introduces such immature drama just to have a beef with a channel that is almost 10 times smaller than he is totally unacceptable. And this should be like the 10th red flag, because this rant goes like for over 10 minutes.
Actually, you know what? Before we even watch it, let's take a caller. Hi, you're live on the air.
I pick files.
Wow. Okay. I absolutely agree. Thank you so much for calling in. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
If this isn't the most cringe video you've seen in a while, I'm really concerned about the videos you're watching in your free time. Max even pukes later, which I don't wanna show because it's totally gross. He even stated that he's a PDF, where Tommy C comes out with something very unsettling, which did make the situation for MamaMax even worse in this case.
That this is always bothered me so much, and why I switched from comedy and I switched to this particular direction, because I'm a victim of child molestation. I was molested by my babysitter, and I got lucky. I had a couple drinks with my neighbor across the street a couple years later when I was a teenager, and he full on got raped by the same guy. Neither of us had the balls, because we were children, to say anything, and by then it was just too late. So I get really, really upset when stuff like this happens. Don't believe me? Think I'm just saying it? Well, Dave knows about it, and he's known about it for like 10 years. And he's one of my closest army buddies. And if you want to sit there and deny me, which I don't care, say that I'm making this up, why would a guy like me running a comedy show just open him up to some of the most offensive, which I fully expect, pedo jokes that I'm going to get? I don't care. I care more about people not taking you seriously than making fun of me getting molested as a kid. A lot more. I'm 46 years old. I'm pretty confident with my sexuality. It's really not a big deal. And who knows? Maybe like Matt's leg, there'll be a few funny jokes in there.
The drama slowly fades away, even though Max fans would occasionally not leave Tommy C's live streams alone. MamaMax will focus on his next project, which is a 3-hour-long documentary of how AI is used to exploit children. We are almost at the end of this crazy ride, but just almost. Now, MamaMax started a series that is still currently going on about a guy who claims to be a werewolf hybrid vampire cult leader guy or something. It's quite crazy. The few videos he made about this cult leader resulted his channel plummeted through a downward spiral. This is also the first time MamaMax received heavy blows to his channel, but also reputation. Also thing I wanna mention that this is also the part that bothers me a lot, because there are many people here involved, and how MamaMax is handling this whole situation is very bad and amateur-like. In the end, I still hope this will have a good outcome, but situation is looking grim. But why is that? Well, let me walk you through. For now, let's look at October 27th, 2023, where Max drops another video called Brainwashing Your Favorite Influencers. This was a tease of his new crusade, and also while doing that, Max decided to change his name to God Cult. Many people thought that the channel was hacked because of this. In the end, he even started losing subscribers because of the confusion. The video he dropped teases a cult and introduces to a critical character in this story called Spencer, a young woman who was in fact a victim of this cult.
I will break your fingers.
Haven't you done that already?
True, and I'll do it again.
This video was also a declaration of war, where he's going to catch this cult leader called Gerard Davis. Also, the name was of course leaked by Max. He said in the video that he will release his fanbase upon him, aka the Leviathans. Do you know what Leviathans are? For example, in Jewish mythology, the name Leviathan can refer to a variety of monsters, including predominant sea serpents, a dragon, a snake, and a crocodile, or even a whale-like animal. So are his fans basically like serpent creatures or what? Never mind. He also addresses people to help him in this video, people like Joe Rogan, H3H3, Mr. Beast, Corpse Husband, and many more. Again, a thing that he pushed heavily in his video, which I already mentioned a few times, is his Patreon account, and stating that the money gathered would be for legal cases to help Spencer and Max to bring this cult leader down, and later he was stating that Spencer is handling the finances. This so-called cult leader apparently abused over 100 minors, and Max says that everyone abused by him needs to reach out to Max and Spencer to help them to build a case. And because there wasn't much real evidence, he stated that Spencer made a channel where you can go basically and watch a 4-hour-long podcast to see all, or better to say, hear all the info you need and all the allegations. And there were many crazy allegations thrown around, that he would basically pimp the ladies out, use them to find other minors, and he would even mark his territory. Basically he would pee on them because he's a werewolf. MamaMax then would release a follow-up video to this called This Is What Happened to MamaMax. This video is basically an hour-and-a-half rant about him going through the comments section and commenting on why people didn't like his video. Literally the video is only about him reading the comments and commenting on them. Now if you remember, we looked at Max on a podcast where he stated he despised drama and that he only wants to make movies. It really shows us once more how fragile Max's ego in reality is.
Couldn't even make it past the first 5 minutes of this video. It's such a shame that you've fallen so hard from grace, especially since I've enjoyed many of your Life Sucks videos. But ever since you quit Life Sucks, you've been going downhill, saying really causing controversy and drama, and being a cynical asshole. It's honestly unbelievable.
It's unfortunate that you've decided to unsubscribe after just 5 minutes into a video that tackles grave issues affecting the lives of real children. Your reluctance to engage with a video of this kind indicates your threshold for confronting reality. If you consider my advocacy for the well-being of children to be saying dumb shit, then perhaps you are someone who warrants closer scrutiny. But feel free to clarify, because I too would like to know what dumb shit you think I'm saying.
The next video will also show you how manipulative Max can be.
I feel like it's kind of a low blow asking PewDiePie to come back to address stuff like this when he stated that he's quitting YouTube to focus on his family. But ultimately, I understand your point.
I appreciate that you ultimately understand my point. That also means you'll understand the magnitude of the issues we're confronting leaves no room for silence. If PewDiePie can come back and talk about Sniper Wolf, then he and others can talk about the nightmarish realities that millions of children are enduring every day, and how our collective inaction is failing them on a global scale. Every influencer, regardless of their current engagement level, has a platform that could be used to drive significant change. There is an array of methods to address these issues in a way that is both impactful and accessible to their audience. As people with the power to influence public opinion, we are not doing enough.
This video basically shows us how he desperately wants the attention of PewDiePie, despite PewDiePie wanting to take some time off YouTube because he needs to focus on his newborn son. And Max really thinks he would go back full time just to investigate PDFs with Max. Isn't this a bit delusional? But because PewDiePie has a son now, Max had a really good tactic to guilt trip PewDiePie to go on a hunt with him. I mean, come on, Max. This video was obviously ignored because bigger creators slowly didn't take him seriously anymore. MamaMax, the egomaniac he is, would upload a video on November 25th, 2023. He made a video which did get a lot of attention, and we are talking here big time. Sadly, it wasn't the attention he wanted. Or was it? But we will talk about that in a bit. The video he dropped was called the biggest cancellation of all time, with Charlie's face on the thumbnail. Don't tell me you weren't fooled to think that Charlie did something very wrong because of this. This was a clever move made by Max. At least he thought it was a clever move. But also this was the point where his crusades would started to crumble down into bits and pieces. This part of the video we could call the start of his downfall. And I wanted to show you why is that. Max wanted to show the world that things that YouTubers are doing are totally unimportant and there were more meaningful things to make besides YouTube videos. Around that time was the drama with SS Sniper Wolf, if you remember, where she dogs a poor guy called Jack's Film. But more on that on my worst YouTubers iceberg chart, where I covered that topic in depth. MamaMax used this drama to make fun of this whole situation in a satirical manner.
Sniper Wolf. Bazaar Man Monday! What was that? Oh!
The way that the video's title and thumbnail was presented is very confusing to everyone not knowing the inside story of this whole drama. Once again was a move made by Max to gain attention. This video was a public stunt to gain Charlie's attention, but not only his but also many other big names in the industry, which would in the end lead the masses to his channel and bring light to the vampire cult trafficking thing.
isn't just happenstance. Our priorities are not just skewed, they are deliberately enabled. The platforms themselves often benefit from keeping the masses distracted with sensational, yet ultimately trivial content, shielding us from the harsh realities that require our immediate attention.
Max was very angry at the whole YouTube community because the topics around the latest gossips dominate our screens and take away precious time away from trafficking cults around the world.
Every single day, we are bombarded with headlines about celebrity feuds, influencer scandals, and the latest entertainment gossip. These stories dominate our screens, our conversations, and our minds, creating a smokescreen that hides the harsher realities faced by countless individuals around the world. Meanwhile, cults masquerade as sanctuaries in obscure corners of the internet, only to devastate minds and splinter families. Yet these pressing issues barely ripple through the surface of our social media obsession.
There isn't any debate about whatever the things Max is covering aren't serious topics. The problem is how the topic was handled by Max. His approach were too dramatic and aggressive, but also fictional, but later on that. This is a very serious topic which doesn't need his over-dramatization of the subject. Max is pretending that there isn't a single soul on YouTube covering such topics and that he is the only one fighting a battle against the predators. To keep it very simple, in Max's eyes, every YouTuber is making garbage content, and people should go only to his channel to support him and also support him on Patreon. But this video failed very hard. Because of that, he changed the thumbnail but also the title of the video, and this is also just a hint of how huge this got and how much backlash he did receive because of this. And many people even called the video cringe. But there were also people coming out in the comment section claiming they felt exploited by Max. This video really shows us how big his ego is and how desperate he was for attention. Again, it was all for the sake of the victims. But if you read the comment section of the video, you will see how people don't trust Max anymore. We can all probably agree that there are many unreported cases around the world, and that is very sad. But just to drag other creators like Charlie into this to gain more views is also not the proper way to handle things like this. This topic needs a clear and planned out approach so people would pick up the story and spread them among YouTubers and other common people. But throwing Charlie into the fire wasn't the best thing he did. Also, Charlie stated that he was basically sick and that he wasn't online at the time, and suddenly one day he saw that Max wanted to cancel him and that this rubbed him the wrong way. I mean, just listen to Charlie.
Stop ignoring MamaMax. Yeah, so here, you want me to talk about it a little bit? That rubbed me the wrong way. We talked like a month ago about like what he was working on in his investigation, and then apparently when I had COVID, he messaged me a couple times and I never saw it. And now he's taken that as me ghosting him and ignoring his very important mission. And it really rubs me the wrong way. Instead of just he jumping to the most extreme possible explanation for me not seeing it, which is really fucking cringe. That did make me upset. There. Yeah, that really rubbed me the wrong way. I had COVID. I barely used Discord in the first place. It was a miracle I ever even saw his message to begin with. And then I spent 12 days not doing anything online in bed. And during that time, apparently it changed his whole framing of the video in order to make it like a Trojan horse of cancel critical because he didn't respond to my messages and ghosted me. So yeah, that did rub me the wrong way.
The craziest thing is that Max was for years now known as a PDF hunter, and now imagine how people reacted to his thumbnail after seeing Charlie on it. And now I will say a thing that I already said a few times, but Max is definitely delusional and his ego doesn't have any limit.
But I am being... I could literally cancel you, Charlie. I could literally cancel you. And I choose not to. It's true though. It's the truth. Like, I'm the friggin' pedo hunter.
But again, we will dive into the leaked DMs with Mudahar down the road. For now, I also want to address that he was investigated by the FBI, apparently. This is because of his Mega Upload account. It is a cloud service where you can upload stuff so people can download it. You remember that Max is promoting a 3-hour-long documentary? Many people don't know if this is something he made up to drive hype behind the documentary, or if this allegation is genuinely real. But the thing that is real, that this account was deleted, it's because Max had some illegal videos which were flagged by the FBI, and that's why his account was deleted. But it is very unclear right now. Now comes the juicy part. Max was and still is making a case against a cult vampire lord called Camden Gerard Davis, and has very heavy allegations against him.
On March 18th, 2016, Spencer, a 16-year-old girl from Wiley, Texas, mysteriously disappeared. Lured by the illusion of joining a supernatural family as a vampire on some random corner of the internet, she actually found herself ensnared in a dangerous cult led by a child predator posing as a werewolf god. The man had recruited hundreds of young children, subjecting them to sending CP, assault, and attempted trafficking. Almost 7 years later, Spencer and the other survivors shared their stories with me. This video serves as their scream for action against their perpetrator.
Gerard Davis allegedly runs a sex cult via Facebook and with a now defunct messenger called Kick. This vampire lord messaged and groomed over 100 minors, both girls and boys. We also talk about Spencer. She reached out to Max because she apparently escaped the cult and wanted to bring this crazy vampire cult down, where she was abused and apparently forced into many horrible things. Max and Spencer claimed that Gerard Davis told Spencer to move across the states to move in with him while she was still under the age of 18. Spencer lived with Camden and his family in a secret, and apparently Camden had full control of her. Spencer claimed that he abused her in any way possible. This cult leader, who identifies as a vampire or werewolf, would convince other people that they were haunted by outside forces, and he would claim that he has ability to send the souls of their loved ones to hell. This is also a way how he would control his victims. He would also try to recruit very young members who are into the world of unnatural beings like unicorns, vampires, werewolves, and so on. This comes everything from the 4-hour-long podcast with Spencer. And the thing is that she also committed a felony to some part on this podcast.
What was the operation like? Did he tell y'all like go to these places and?
So my particular recruitment style that he also encouraged others to do it this way too, was to go on Whisper and post about, oh hey, if you want to join a family dynamic and be a part of a pack, hit me up on Kick, you know, or like DM me and then we'd give them the Kick. So there was one time he did have me lure a girl like physically.
And that's why it is very important to have a lawyer by your side and not a guy who uses a ChatGPT as legal advice. A huge problem that occurred was that Max was swinging his shiny sword and telling everybody to hunt him down, but he didn't have any proper proof besides the testimonies. Again, I don't want to say that Max or Spencer is lying, but if we can take a word of someone as an advice, Max has like 5 exes behind him, which had many bad accusations about Max. So you see the problem here? Now, I found out that some creators have spoken out that Spencer has actually moved with him. This is also kind of red flag in my opinion on several points. First, Max told us how he wanted to grow a platform so she and other victims can tell their story, but if I'm correct, she could also do that through Max. Secondly, Max's approach to this whole investigation feels very amateur-like. Like I said, there isn't much proof on him besides a few photos and some screenshots floating around, but that's not concrete evidence. Max even stated there is a group where you can get in if you sign a NDA document, but the public eye sadly won't see anything because there is an investigation still going on. Again, I don't want to push my opinion on this as it is not that relevant. I'm just here to point out the facts which I could gather over the internet. Max's credibility really started to crack, and there were people behind his back who would basically pay for these hunts. And then comes Max posting a video without any concrete evidence about the guy. It felt very amateur-like, and he even stated that he didn't have any proper timeline built on this. And this is also a reason why things like this should be handled by professionals and not YouTubers. There are many people familiar with the law and the system and how they can pursue them and take such people down and not to hurt the victims in the process.
I never said the evidence was good evidence. I mean, I didn't even say much in that server.
Even with Max, it's like, and I'll just say it right now, privately, he sent me the whole message where it's like me appearing on Tommy and fucking Lyrics' stream. They had it, a lot of, I guess, people in that server had a doubt, and it's like, I'm not showing up on these people's stream to like crap on you or anything. That's not a thing. Lyrics, for all things considered, yeah, he's like a more raunchy guy, but I chalk that more up to his youth than anything. But what he's saying isn't necessarily out of pocket, you know? I might just be saying what Lyrics is saying with like more maturity applied to it, I guess is the best way to put it. But Lyrics wasn't wrong, right? Like, you got to have evidence. You got to make sure you don't go into these situations 100% on emotion, and that's it. Nobody's poking holes in Max for the sake of poking holes. It's poking holes for the sake of reaching out to these people that are working with him. That, like, if you actually want real justice, it is really time to reach out and work with actual law enforcement agents versus putting your stock into a YouTube channel. Because right now, these girls aren't going to get any justice at all. That's what I personally believe at this point. These
I think
girls
that every day they spend with him, they're a day closer to being in a civil suit with them being on the opposite side of it than they are in a situation where that guy's going to go to jail.
This is going to be the one thing that is going to sound so controversial to his camp. There's a chance that Camden Gerard Davis could even be an innocent individual.
Yeah. No, and I think
that's a reality that everyone has to deal with, and it's not a reality that people should put their nose up to.
There is nothing that indicatively hits in this situation, and that's really where we're at right now. Max, if you're watching this, and I have to imagine you are, you've made a very, very, very poor documentary of this whole situation. And if anything, these girls, when their case isn't going to be taken seriously, once again, there's a good chance it won't be.
Evidence is crucial because accusing somebody of a PDF is a serious allegation that can ruin somebody's life. Well, if the one actually did it, then rightfully so, but if not, you can put an individual in a very messy situation. Again, Max himself had allegations from his ex-girlfriends which we looked at, so he has first-hand experience about being accused of something he didn't do apparently. And I could guess it did lead him in a messy situation. The problem is that simply the people started to question his credibility and if Max has any proof at all. Now, would you consider things like your private address and your full name a private thing, especially on social platforms? Well, of course they are. A simple Google search will tell you that your full name is a private thing. Well, again, Max, the genius he is, decided it would be wise to contact Garrett Davis' mother and brother to ask about him. But the madness didn't stop here, because Max proceeded to dox their names to his community, which started to harass them until they didn't get some answers. There is also a pretty interesting stream I want to show you with a guy called Lyrics on YouTube.
Pretty egregious, where you started to like direct your chat and direct your chat to tell them to go reach out to the mom and to the brother to find out information about Camden? Is that's true, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. So I think that sets a horrible standard because, like, to my knowledge, you don't have any proof that they're even involved, right? Like, the mom didn't help out Camden with his potential abuse to these kids, or the brother. Like, you can't prove either of that, correct?
Correct.
Can you at least understand other people's perspective on how, if you set that standard for the internet where you start involving so many other people that aren't even directly involved and they become collateral damage for something that they're not even involved with, you could see how that's an obvious, like, a horrible standard to set. And now you're just involving innocent people into a crime that they didn't even commit.
I think it's a standard that should be set if the person they are going after is an actual predator who is active.
In your stream, you acknowledged on how people have doxed you before, correct? And how people, like, how that's affected your life. So you're very familiar with how the internet works. And you're very familiar that if you're telling thousands of people on a live stream that, hey, you know what, you should contact these people to get information about this file. And also, like, you're doxing the mom's name. Didn't you do that?
Saying the full name of an individual is not doxing.
What do you mean?
Huh? Larix was a guy invited to the livestream by Max sometime last year after the video with Charlie to have a debate / critic of all what happened. Larix asked some valid questions, even he is a bit hot-tempered, but rightfully so. But the questions he asked didn't get to Max at all. It felt like he didn't take him seriously at all.
Make a video talking about this situation. Assumingly, I think you were asking him to do it so more victims would potentially come out so you could get a better case to get him, just file a police report better. That's what I assume you're contacting him for. I think you're trying to force him in a sense, or try to, like, use this moral superiority, the guilt, like, to guilt trip him into covering it at this point, which I think just makes you look bad in the whole thing and kind of trivializes the thing you're trying to call out, and having a whole bunch of people like me just roll their eyes at the situation because of the way you're covering it, which is just doing you a disservice.
At least I have your eyes, though.
I mean, don't you think you've made, like, bigger documentaries in hour-long videos before, and they get way more attention, way more views? It would serve better if you just made a fully fleshed out documentary explaining it. And we've seen, like, Moist Critical, he reacts to videos all the time on stream. I guarantee if you would make a big hour to 2 hour long documentary, sent it to Moist Critical, he would cover it, because I know a lot of people, and I know you've seen the comments too, MamaMax. You can't deny, a lot of people are writing off your story just because of the way that you're covering it and the way that you're going about it. Like, you've seen that, right?
Yes, sir. Let me just read off this donation from Carpimp. She said, "Guilt trip. I wish YouTubers cared about victims." And I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. We always receive pushback. Always. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, no one likes the way you cover a specific thing because it is a sensitive topic that is always
That's okay. I hear what you're saying. That's a really convenient way to wipe off any criticism. I guess, like, the difference is that it feels like you're imposing this standard, like you're trying to push this standard onto him.
First Kiss Doodle donated $5 and said, "Lyrics, I hope you find your clout somewhere else. Please stop derailing the conversation about edgy content and minimizing the victim."
Are we reading donations? Do you want me to read my donations? Like, what are we having a conversation?
And that's Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers, a good friend of Max, or at least we thought so, that they were good friends. He will be one of the fatal blows delivered to Max. Max would constantly use Mudahar as a joker card, as if Mudahar says the evidence is good, it must be good. We saw on many different occasions the research skill of Mudahar. Well, Max crossed the line because Mudahar jumped on the stream to clear his name and just stated he didn't see any hard proof.
It's not what what I aim to do. I'm just trying to say I need to the story is very confusing to somebody jumping in. So the last video you made with Charlie in the title, thumbnail, everything. One of the problems that I had was the first 10 minutes in the beginning. It was just you showed some screenshots, and the problem is I have to pause constantly because you were only showing them for half a second each time, which made it really hard to follow. And the screenshots that I did see, they were very charged, but they were lacking a lot of context that made me look into the thing is, the story, I don't think it necessarily needs the dramatization, because this is a vampire cult leader allegedly, and that's enough to grab a headline. But the thing is, the story needs to be told in a super cohesive manner, because I think that's what everyone's problem is, right? If you'd have done that initially, easily a bunch of YouTubers, a bunch of individuals would have talked about this in a very productive manner, because right now the whole situation is so tainted. Everyone's wondering, everyone's turning this into everyone's accusing you of over dramatizing this situation, or going about it the wrong way by reaching out to YouTubers without having a solid story to start off with, or that's the real issue.
Yeah, I assumed everyone was, if they wanted to know more, they would just go to the podcast, because that was to help Spencer build their own platform. But I do understand that not everyone's going to click on the podcast or watch the whole 5 hours. But thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Seeing how Max behaves to Mudahar and comparing it with lyrics, it's just ridiculous. Max even felt annoyed by Mudahar's question, and it felt like he wanted to get out of the stream, but again, Mudahar's points were validated. Now comes the banger to end all of this. Look at this.
You revealed the name of a survivor who wished to remain anonymous. Which, to give all the context, what he's talking about here is this clip he sends me in Discord is a clip of me showing the Discord call that I had with MamaMax on stream. And the Discord call happened to show the real name of one of the victims. This genius survivor decided to, she had a fake name on Max's stream. She went by a fake alias when she was telling her story. But the genius didn't, have the idea to change her Discord name. So, when I joined the call, it showed up as her name in the call. It's not my mistake for showing the Discord call live on stream. You should have thought about this beforehand. And also, apparently, that's Max's excuse for him privating his VOD. As I'm going to go over in more of these DMs, he says the reason why he privated his VOD was because of that he leaked the name too, and because of privacy concerns. If this issue isn't addressed promptly, we will need to contact our YouTube partner manager. Whatever. At the end of the day, he's talking to me very weird and he's threatening to strike me. But at the end of the day, if it's a concern on doxing someone's name or releasing someone's name, that's a fine request. I'm it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I'll just re-upload it and I'll censor the name.
Yes. Max basically threatened Lyrics to strike his channel down, but not because of a mistake that Lyrics made, because he could never know that the real name of a victim in the Discord was his real name. And this wasn't the last time Max tried to silence somebody. And MamaMax recently dropped an apology video. The video was called "I Place Accountability in My Own Hands." Posted on January 17, 2024, he opens his heart to the viewers. MamaMax, due to the recent events orchestrated solely by him that would lead him to be in very hot waters, this video would be a way to clear things up. The video opening is how Max tells us about a 30-minute video which is called "Silence All the Survivors." From the past, we knew that Max's strategy was aggressively pushing his agenda on other people, but this video was much different.
So, I just completed a 30-minute video called "Silencing All Survivors" that addresses pretty much everything. It addresses criticisms. It addresses my approach. It includes apologies. It includes a call to action on Camden. A little bit of information about everything. But I showed it to some trusted friends and the survivors. Some people loved it. Some people had a few criticisms, and then some people hated it and told me not to upload it. I've got people telling me just talk about the case and nothing else. I've got people telling me just address the criticisms. I've got people telling me just apologize. I feel like I'm being pulled in every which way. And no matter how hard I try, I cannot make everyone happy.
I also want to state that after I first saw the title of the deleted video, it awoke a hatred in me. Yes, silence all the survivors would mean something sad and bad, but when I saw Max on the thumbnail, I just had him before my eyes flashing screens and telling us that we failed the victims, not Max. Because his video got flagged, because his video got bad comments, because he was judged and ridiculed on the internet, and that's why we failed and silenced the victims. This was my first reaction to this unpublished video, but I don't wanna take anybody's side here. But again, everybody can interpret this video in a different manner, and that is completely fine. Again, my opinion is here, you can state yours in the comment sections. The video felt somewhat real, it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't over the top like most of his videos. And he did try to bend this mess in the right direction, but I mean the video has like 1000 likes and like 10,000 dislikes, so you know how the situation is. He stated his strings are pulled in every direction, and that makes it very hard for him to go in the right direction. And I want you to look at this next clip.
I met Spencer. She told me what happened to her. I told her I was busy with other projects, but if you need me to hand this to someone else, I will. She said, no, I want you. And so, a few years later, I finally came back and I was like, okay, are you ready? And we did the podcast. And while I was there listening to her, that's when I realized this is going to evolve into something much more. Like, originally, I just wanted to do a podcast where we platform survivors and they tell their story. But you can't just tell your story anymore. Now you need concrete evidence. Now you need to go to law enforcement multiple times. Now you need to consult with lawyers. Like, we can't just listen to survivors when they're screaming for help.
I mean, the statement he made that we live in a world where testimony isn't enough and that we need concrete evidence to prove something, I mean, that's just nuts. Wasn't it like this always? Well, whatever. But survivors are screaming for help and you waited like 3 years to help this girl out? To what? Make a freaking channel and do a podcast? Again, this was an attempt to make it right, but I think he didn't succeed at it at all. But sadly, this isn't the end. He also showed us some recorded footage of a victim telling their story, which is horrible. A living nightmare would perhaps be the right description. But the problem wasn't the victims in their story, but rather how Max made a jeopardy of this case and how he handled things. That's the problem. I mean, you can easily see that for yourself by just digging through the comment section. January 18, 2024, the fatal blow. The killer was executed by none other than from his now ex-friend Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers, a guy who we mentioned already in this video a few times. The situation or drama, if you can call this, isn't at the end, but the fact that Max has lost 30 or 40,000 subscribers in a month is also a good indication of which way is his channel heading. I mean, he lost more subs than I have, but maybe you can help me with this and subscribe to this channel and like this video, or join my YouTube or Patreon, because this video almost took my sanity. I'll thank you so much for this in advance, and let's continue. Mudahar made a video simply called MamaMax is a complete fraud. A video that dives into the allegations of Max, and it also dives into some unreleased phone calls and much more.
Video is the most serious I might have made in my entire career on this platform. It's a video I don't want to make because it's personally so uncomfortable. It's a video about someone I and many in the community considered a friend. Today, I personally don't consider this person a friend. I consider them a liar, both professionally and on a personal level regarding very personal things.
He starts the video by basically denying his friendship with Max and stated this topic isn't something he loves to cover as he isn't a lawyer or a legal expert, and that the things like this investigation taken on by Max should be handled by professionals and not YouTubers. But also Mudahar is a guy who loves to back up everything he says with proper proof, like this conversation with Max.
Hey Muda, I hope you've been well. I don't want to bother, but I thought you might appreciate a heads up about an upcoming project of mine. I'm on the verge of releasing a video for Halloween that is likely to generate significant drama. While it may be deemed controversial, the intent behind it is for charity. The video is designed to be a trap for reaction channels. Knowing your integrity and the quality of your content, I would hate for you to be caught off guard. At the same time, we would be honored if you would consider covering this in a thoughtful manner. To facilitate a deeper discussion, may I include you in a group chat with other influencers who are also considering covering this topic. If confidentiality is not an issue, I'd be more than happy to send you the video under a non-disclosure agreement. This will allow you to become familiar with the video's content before it goes public, enabling you to navigate any provocative elements we've included. Look forward to hearing from you, Max. Now to understand, initially I read this and said, I'm down to hop in, man. Good to hear from you. Hope everything is well.
Now this video made really this fiasco spin out of control. And please bear in mind the NDA agreement for later. Also Mudahar did speak with Max and mostly told him that he needs to prove everything he says so he can basically build a proper case against the cult. But there is also a thing which Mudahar fears, but I'm in the same boat with him. And that is that this situation can go wrong very quickly.
Since isn't publicly available, you literally are opening yourself up to a very, very serious claim from this person. That also said, making these serious claims can only entice this person if they're actually, say, allegedly guilty of them. And it could cause them to go down and delete evidence so that if they know that they are under scrutiny or investigation, they might start actually getting rid of actionable evidence that can exist. If these people are potentially armed and dangerous, it could make them go above the edge, over the edge, and then actually cause harm to the people around them as some form of retribution to somebody online.
Mudahar continues to dissect the few last chapters of this video and mostly comments on Max. How he made a jeopardy of this video but also the victims, as he couldn't take the situation seriously, mostly because he included clips with Sniper Wolf and his drama with Tommy C. How do you think the victims felt when they saw MamaMax jumping and screaming around to make the video more engaging, so they get the attention they deserve? Do you think this is a great way for people who are SA to gain attention? But not only the victims, but also the people who are financially supporting Max.
We are not going to court, Xylan.
So what are you doing? Just hunting them down like a deer? Is that what we're doing? What are we doing?
Have you not been listening this stream?
I know, but you loop. You loop, and then you always look to somebody else for an answer. You can't give an answer yourself.
I'm answering you.
What are you doing then? Tell me right now. I will be quiet for you to answer and go.
So when we reached out to the lawyer, he told us it would not be beneficial to pursue a case against Camden Gerard Davis because he likely does not have substantial assets. So he recommended that we all go in person to report him to the police station that is in his jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we are
they
doing.
didn't tell you to go into the okay, is he still in the same jurisdiction that the crime occurred?
For the most recent survivors, yes.
Okay. Because I was always under the impression you have to go into the jurisdiction that the crime occurred. All right? Then yes, carry your pretty ass over to that jurisdiction and go, hey, Mr. Police Officer, I have a crime to report. Yes, that's what needs to be done.
Yes,
Hell,
that
you
is what
might
we are
even be
doing.
able, and because since, you know, COVID and stuff like that, you might even be able to do it over the phone. I don't know. Because I've only dealt, because I know you're in a different state now. You know what I'm saying? But I've had to do it. I've had to do stuff like this before on my own accord. But yes, you need to go to the police of the jurisdiction of where the crime occurred and go, hello, Mr. Officer, can you help me?
Yes, that is what we are doing.
Okay, that should have been done before all these live streams.
Just time and time again, MamaMax shows us how unhinged he is, and he made many followers of his mad. As Max stated that some of his videos contain parts that are made up for the sake of the video to be more dramatic and to get the point across. And after all the things we saw, makes this whole investigation look even more like a joke. Again, sharing a phone call that addresses this topic.
So recently, people have been saying that your investigations kind of skew the line between fact and fiction because they're finding things that you've created as context for the video. I think people are pointing to the Discord server that you were an admin of when you were showing it, the lawsuit that you changed the name or whatever. How much of what you do is kayfabe and how much of it is legitimately like live? This is the investigation. Here it is.
So the investigations themselves are real, but obviously the films have fictional elements. There's multiple reasons, like for example, the admin thing on the Discord server, I had to recreate it. Yeah, that was a recreation because I didn't have the originals. The IMVU thing, I wasn't. I don't know why people are saying like it's a film, like I am presenting it as if it were to be real, but I didn't think people would take it as that. Like,
but wait, you hunt pedophiles. You don't think that people are going to think your videos are real?
So that's the thing. So I want everyone, when you watch my video, to assume everything is fake, except like when I show a face and what they're doing.
Again, why are we interspersing fact and fiction when it comes to incredibly serious stories like this? Look, I'm not here to say if Max is definitively faking his stuff or not. People definitely have their suspicions. But the thing about it is if you're admitting that you don't want people to think your content is real, how can you honestly take the responsibility to cover serious cases like this when you are admitting that, yes, my audience, if they watch my videos, I don't want them to think anything is real unless I show this person's face and make serious accusations. Look, either all of it is real because this is supposed to be an investigation. This is not some movie, okay? This is not some fictionalized media. Even media that does dramatic recreations is following facts, okay? If that's the content they're trying to produce. If the content they want to produce is making investigations where they are going after the darkest corners of the internet, people have a very reasonable expectation to believe it's real.
This shows us how Max loves to blend reality with fiction. Now you're probably guessing every video he made, and rightfully so, and this is definitely an ongoing problem with Max. So this even stinks like fraud. Again, if the topic of the video is reviewing Elder Scrolls and he mods the game to tell us about a real sword he found somewhere in the game just to be proven fake, but he delivered a good presentation and lore to it, there will be people pissed, definitely, but the stakes here are immensely high as we already addressed it. Had again another private call with Max, which addresses Sunny. Remember Sunny from the IMVU at the beginning of the video? Holy heck, this video is a freaking mess. Again, if you enjoyed the video, you know how to help the channel. So, the next call will be the final nail to the coffin, so to say. It was a phone call with Nicholas DeOrio and Max, how they talked about the Sunny case, and where Max basically stated, you know what, listen to it, I don't want to spoil it.
Have you ever gotten someone arrested?
If I have, then I don't know it.
You went on my podcast to tell me that you've got someone arrested and it was because of your video, just to be clear. Would you like to re-answer that question?
I've been emailed stuff like, hey, you got this guy arrested, congratulations.
You went on and you said, this guy was arrested, it was because of me, it was because of my video. And you told me that 2 years ago.
It's kind of egotistical of me to say that it was my video that did it. I don't know that for sure.
But then you said recently that he fled to the Philippines. So was Sonny ever arrested? Pablo Sonny? Did that ever even happen?
Yes, he did. All we know is that his last location we picked him up from was Mexico. Whether he fled to the Philippines or not, we don't know. We just know he has family there, and that's the most likely destination they would go to, just because.
But he was in, like, so he was arrested. That was.
Pablo Sonny? I don't think so. I think he got away.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, if he was arrested, I have no idea.
Why did you tell me he was arrested? You said Pablo Sonny was arrested and my video did it. Why did you lie to me on my show?
Do you have a clip of that?
Yes. It's in something I've been currently editing.
Yeah, send it to me.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I think there's even a video on YouTube. Actually, can you just jump in the screen share? I'll just pull it over. Because somebody archived it.
I guess I can hear stuff, but I can't see anything.
Perfect. That's all you need because the visual is a drawing. Okay, here you go. This is the two clips, contrasting clips of Pablo Sonny. Okay, so obviously one of them is in December 29th, and the other is, December 29th, 2021, and the other is November 27th, 2023. Okay.
Okay.
What is your primary goal? Is that then? There's no. What's your other?
Well, I guess the question is like the next getting at is like, okay, so you want to enact this change. What do you hope is the eventual result of your video?
Okay.
Of all of this.
So I know there's people out there saying I'm doing it to self-serve. I just want my video back up. I don't give a shit if my video comes back up. It did what it needed to do. So that was in the video is currently in police custody. And it
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video. Right. The video was about IMVU and this one predator. I made it about him and him alone.
IMVU is a game, right? You played the game and you exposed this guy.
Yes.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned?
Yeah, so I dropped the video. The end of the video is a call to action. Usually all my videos are a call to action, like find him, and we did.
So in this case, find him meant like you didn't know who he was. You wanted his doc so he could go to jail.
All we had was his face and his voice.
Right.
And out of that, I said, find him. And then within 24 hours, we found him. And then I started social engineering all of his friends to give me his information, and they did. And then we pegged him. He fled to Mexico. We found where he was in Mexico.
Wow.
I don't know if the police, he was from Canada. So I don't know if the police asked him to come back.
As all terrible people are.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if the police asked him to come back or he went on his own volition or they forced him to come back. I don't know any of those details. I just know he went back to Canada and was in police custody for a certain amount of time.
So you lied.
So that was what I was told through Instagram posts when I was in contact with his friends.
You didn't remember that until I showed you the clip? You didn't remember that, like, this is your biggest crown achievement that you got arrested?
I didn't remember the details, no. I just remember he fled to Mexico, all the police custody. That was only I was told. I couldn't verify any of that.
So you just got on stream and told everybody it was me, I did it, MamaMax, #1.
Yeah, that's not cool. You can let people know I think that. I mean, we literally had him in a voice call. Like, it's like the Mega Drive. Like, it's literally us saying we're 14 years old. He's saying, yeah, I want you to ride me and shit that to what he thinks is a 14-year-old. And we verified that by telling him, like, I don't know, I'm young. I don't know, I'm only 14. I think that should be sufficient to put him in prison. But the law says otherwise, I suppose, because as far as I know, he hasn't been imprisoned, and people have been I received an email that someone was going to talk to the deputy about why he hasn't been arrested. And I'm also actually going to start interviewing police local to me as to don't get arrested, because I know they all want to arrest them. It's just the law binds them.
So you've never actually gotten a pedophile arrested?
Not to my knowledge.
So this phone call literally provided the proof that everything Max was doing in the few last years was more or less a lie. It shows us how Max uses every possible way under the sun to get publicity even if it's lying. Or, oh really, he didn't remember it? But come on, you just can't say you don't remember one of your greatest success on your platform. This brings his whole career to question, from the very first video where he started to posting videos about predators. The question is now, how are his followers feeling after seeing this phone call? Misled? Betrayed? I don't know. Is there any way that this can get any worse? Well, of course it does.
Alright, let's see, what is this? Oh, not ChatGPT, bro.
Okay. So, look at what I just sent you.
Yeah, you sent me a ChatGPT prompt, not a legal definition.
I mean, we can argue legal semantics all we want.
No, we're not arguing semantics. We have to look at exact definition, Max. This is the problem with this situation. You're going in with evidence that can't be 100% corroborated. You're going in with allegations as an evidence. Courts would laugh you out.
Are we talking to your lawyer, ChatGPT?
Yeah, is this the lawyer?
Is
like,
going
dude,
on?
Right here, bro. Come on, you can't. You know, if I make a video on this, this is what I have to work with. How do you honestly think I can take your side logically? If tomorrow I was like, oh, where's Max getting his legal definitions? Oh, ChatGPT. By the way, ChatGPT has also been getting dumber over the last few months. I mean, come on.
If the judge and jury find a witness statement credible, they can charge or convict you of a crime based solely on witness testimony alone. That is from BergenCriminalAttorney.com. Y'all can look it up.
Show me that. Show me that definition. Show me that definition, not the ChatGPT. Why'd you not bring me that one?
I am giving you multiple.
Give me that. Give me the one from the legal definition. Why'd you bring me ChatGPT? Link me that right now. We'll read it together.
ChatGPT understands the legal system.
This is the point where Mudahar, one of those guys who was behind him the whole time, lost every faith in him. He's a guy who really tries to have as much evidence about the things he covers so he doesn't throw a random accusation on people. To end this very dramatic chapter, take your conclusion from this clip.
Well, I'm asking why you did not directly contact me, but contact us only in public stream.
Let's see, I contacted you November 27th. Max, I've seen your latest video. I've caught up with this whole situation. I have texted you.
What it felt like seeing him on streams?
You went on with Tommy and Lyrics and are sitting there talking to them when you literally haven't spoken to the other survivors.
Hold on, can you put Max on for a second?
I'm right here.
That was snaky as f***. Oh, I'm coming after you, Mudahar. Stand back, Spencer. Can you tell him what you felt? You are literally just a little
because
snake
it
hiding
literally.
behind her, dude. That's
Can you
disgusting.
listen to me? Can you listen to me? It was so heartbreaking hearing Muta sit there and say that, oh, if this is fake, then I'll gladly put money towards Camden's defamation trial.
Yeah, if it is fake.
I thought you said it's fine with saying it's allegedly. Now all of a sudden,
it's
there's
real.
There's no like other side to the story.
How do you feel? How do you think that it makes myself and the other survivors feel when you're saying that? It is okay to think that, but you're going publicly and saying that to everybody else when you haven't spoken to the others. I'm just trying to understand, why would you do that without talking to us?
I've spoken with Max. Max is your representative. Max is supposed to be the one bringing the story across to everyone. And yes, if in the case that everything is actually... Why is it your job? Because you're the one who's like spearheading this. You're the one spearheading it. What do you mean? Fine, give it to Spencer's channel. Spencer, you upload this whole thing.
What?
Who's running the investigation?
Oh my
This is your case. This as well, and you haven't.
Yeah, why are you putting it all on me? Like, yes,
you're the one bringing it. Why are you talking about this case?
I am the first one.
Yeah.
I do not want to be the only one.
You're
the only one.
Well, then you are the only one. You haven't convinced. Exactly. You haven't made anything
You
compelling.
haven't been listening to them. I've been
because you
trying
haven't been
to
giving
set up
anybody
a
anything to
call
work
like
with.
this for months.
Yeah, and I've had a 2-hour-long call, and I'm not moving anywhere close to the situation. In fact, I have more questions.
Why can't you take initiative to talk to other survivors?
Well, I'm talking to you right now more than anybody else.
After the video was made by Mudahar, our guy Max decided to sue him. Somebody took a screenshot of the DMs, where they stated Mudahar is extremely rich and their lawsuit seeks $1 million in damages, and again claiming that this would have a huge impact on the case against Camden. You remembered also that one of the creators who supported Max was Nexpo? Well, he was somewhat of a friend of Max, and he has finally spoken out on the things regarding Max in the call with Lyrics.
It's kind of crazy because in person he's like a normal, it seems like a normal dude. It's kind of awkward, cracks jokes, you know, we grab a beer together and stuff, and it's just like a normal person. And then you befriend that version of someone, and then they go online and do all this shit. And they do it once and it's like, okay, yeah, sure. And then they do it twice and it's like, okay, damn, YouTube really hates you. And then your exes come out and it's like, okay, what the fuck's going on? And then this, and I'm like, okay, there's a pattern. This happens once a year. This is fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
Like being associated with you, doing all it, going through the same song and dance every goddamn year is just, it gets so old, dude. It's exhausting. And I told him that I've cut ties with him, and I just kind of laid it all out. Like being associated with you in any way is just frustrating, and he literally thrust me into depression.
The call was definitely a bit weird at some parts, but the fact that every ally that Max had was coming out and wanting to clear their names and simply burn the bridges with him is just crazy. Seeing that Nexpo went through a depression because he is associated with Max is freaking nuts. The poor guy. The stream would go on where Lyrics would ask basically some questions. Nexpo also told us how Max didn't want to reveal much of his personal life and a more detailed look into his videos, but also told us how Max is very unpredictable.
The thing with Max is like you never really know what you're getting into whenever you join him in anything. And that's honestly, I should have, I guess, read into that more and had more of like, I guess, the awareness of what the I was doing, because Max will basically randomly DM you like, hey, do you want to be in a video? And I'm like, yeah, sure, dude, I'll be in a video. And he like sends me a script and he's like, read this. And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. And then I see the whole context when everything's out. And I'm like, what the
Yeah. So for the like specifically the pick a side thing, you just got like basically a script to say out loud, and you just trusted him because obviously he's your friend, and you know he has a certain amount of like, you know.
He also stated that he knew that some of his videos were fake from the gaming era which we addressed in the beginning. You know, the cult game and the IMVU. Nexpo realizes that being a friend with Max can end up hurting his reputation if this all comes out, and simply decided to take some distance between them. And also Nexpo made a statement that can be the end of Max. Perhaps. Listen to this.
During that one phone call like a week ago, I told him, Spencer, if you keep listening to her, your career is over. Spencer is single-handedly ruining your career. You've got to stop listening to her.
She is. Did you see like she's pushing in Max to sue Muda? Like, did you see the leaked messages there?
Case in point, bro.
She's like the only example of anyone who thinks that's a good idea, dude. I literally.
I just want to ask you now, what is your opinion on this? Do you really think that Spencer is ruining Max's career? I mean, many things Max brought up upon himself. This is a fact as we saw, but can we say that Spencer is having the hammer and nailing the coffin? I mean, the conflict of interest is real. Also, the thing she's pursuing Mudahar is also a thing. She is also managing his finances. We can expect everything from Max from what we saw in this video. So, is this the end of Max? First, if you're still listening, just wow. And secondly, thank you from the depths of my heart. I hope this video will give you a good explanation about this situation. And I don't know why, but as of January 22, 2024, The last few MamaMax's videos are unlisted from his channel. Does this mean that he finally realized he made a jeopardy of his case? Or perhaps he really talked to the police and they told him to unlist the videos? Or were the last few videos on his channel just a move to make more drama so he can profit? Is Max a fraud or he is just an egomaniac? Did Max in fact create a cult by deceiving others to follow him in this immoral crusade, using them and weaponizing his fanbase? Because he isn't telling much details to the public, but he is sure telling people to follow him blindly. He tried multiple times to drive hype and to use his fanbase as a way to intimidate and push his agenda. Isn't this a definition of a cult or not? I let you to decide here. The things we saw here is that he will make drama and that he will use it against everyone. He will throw allegations around without thinking twice. How he also dogs people over and over again, putting people even in danger, we could say. But at the end of the day, the saddest thing is that the people believed in him. People who lived through literal hell, people whom their love system failed, and people who needed help but also hope, and they looked up to Max like he was a messiah. This is the sad thing here. I hope that those people will get their justice and that there will be a happy end. Not for Max, but the people who needed his help. This drama isn't over. I feel it. But as for now, we hit a roadblock. This video was long enough. I hope that you enjoyed this video I made, because the story here isn't something that can be enjoyed. I once again thank you for tuning in, and this is all from me now. And I see you in the next one. Bye.